Archi5 is a 10 years old studio based in Montreuil, created in 2003. Archi5 has a staff of 35 people. We are mainly involved in public building, education, culture and sport. We are also carrying out urban development project in Argentina, Brazil, Sweden, and also a museum of archaeology in Rabat, Morocco. We are also working and dwelling on different scale. The studio has a common approach based on context. To introduce the studio, I would like to show some of our building before to speak about Marsan. It takes 5 minutes. In Normandy, Marcel Samba High School is a big wavy green roof building, the largest in Europe, and refurbished building. This building is connected to the public park beside. Toulon Stadium, the Léo Lagrange Stadium, is a sport complex, a vast urban park devoted to sporting and fun activity containing rugby and soccer. Looking like a sailboat onto the wind, the structure is work of art. And two sport complexes. The first is Anthony's, the mysterious black stone planted in an urban landscape. We designed this facility to be simple, powerful, and almost timeless. As the user appreciates this building, we ask us to be part of competition for another bigger sport complex that we won. It is now under construction. Here in Archmarathon, we have been honored to be selected with Marsan Mediathèque. 22. It is located southwest of France in part-colored land. It's the main city of this region. The media library stands in the middle of the Bosquet barracks, and care has been taken to augment the dialogue with the place's strong architectural wall. It takes place on the grass field in the middle of the central space. The building has been designed as a covered cultural square by making the facade transparent and the floor uniform, also through its position in the middle. Also through its position in the middle of the barracks. This design is read by extending the planted roof to make it seem to be hovering above the ground. The grassy incline that surrounds the building draw the eye upward, then give way to alternating transparent and reflecting glass facade. The elevation highlights the building. With its clean envelope of geometric line, a 60 per 60 meter square, 9 meter high, the building complies with classical layout yet contrasts with its austerity by offsetting the system with the corner opening onto the city. The slight 5-degree rotation with the building present in the relation to the orthogonal urban mesh break the predetermined martial order. The media library central location in the military dry yard inspired the building with 4 main sides. They are adapted to the direction they face. The media library confirms its identity from whatever angle it is viewed. The building roof is an element of primary importance for the architecture of building. The main idea was that to imagine that the turf of the courtyard inside the Bosquet barracks has been raised at 8, and underneath it, the transparent volume of the media library has been built. For this reason, the roof has been designed like a large square which reproduces exactly the inside. It has been treated like a garden with objective to recompose at urban scale all the green space. It acts like an insulation layer also to facilitate the collection and the reuse of rainwater. The interior space of the ground floor is completely open and centered around the patio, the design of which has been inspired by Mathe's painting of acanthus leaves, the volume of which we call Alvar Aalto vases. Columns around the patio are this typical pine forest of this part of France, La Forêt des Landes. Trees filter the light coming into the Mediathèque. The various functions are organized naturally on the open floor space, which maintains visual continuity and diffuse daily evenly. It is the first patio used by a media library as an open reading room. It is a place that provides a relaxed, contemplative atmosphere for its users. User intimacy is created by the strong architectural element that inspire visual interplay. It's made well with the surprise, almost hidden patio that makes the building so popular with the public. The library internal courtyard is conceived like a proper covered square, an open, fluid, and bright space where all the functions with a stronger impact on the public are concentrated. The information and visitor center, the collection service, the section dedicated to lasted issue and news, the magazine and newspapers, the audiovisual and some rest area with chair and table freely arranged between the lower shelves. There are spaces for young readers and children, 120-seat auditorium, study and reading space, an open shelf area for adults, about 100,000 books arranged between the ground floor and mezzanine level. The mezzanine is accessible by a ramp which allows and promenade architectural and the mezzanine art and cinema department take place. Since the 1980s, the French librarian was the first to understand that to give a new future to the National Library Service, it was needed to radically rethink its model, both from the service organization point of view and from the building architecture to the point to adopt the neologism médiathèque in substitution of the old word bibliothèque to highlight the direction towards modernization, the world of media. The Médiathèque du Marsan developed this model interpreting in the 21st century context when it's now obvious that public library must be predominantly knowledge square. It focuses that Google, Facebook, or Amazon will never have a physical place where to go. The competence of the staff will welcome you, the possibility of meeting friends or people one doesn't know in the new urban square, neutral and open to everybody. This has been the main criteria which inspired the project, creating a place couverte open to the city where the citizen can freely walking, discovering little by little a space full of surprise. Conception is not based only on context, reference, and program. We also use our special tools, a system poetry. System poetry is the way we use simple elements multiplied in a series of elements. In the multiplicity, we input lintel and subtle vibration to give to the set its own movement that gives sometimes the magical emotion. It is a way as a cereal of leaves become a tree, a dress for a tree. The system poetry is part of nature. This beautiful cloud is made of plastic glasses. Yes. A glass volume with a square plan and with an almost severe look at the outside, it transformed in a bright and warm environment inside, thanks to a central patio with a winding shape and open toward the city overlooked by the library public space. The elevations are extremely clean and geometrically pure. They are identical on every side. It makes the building become an abstract volume. Richness and complexity is made by the view of successive layers visible thanks to the transparency. It is showed with the diamond-like pattern of the classed facade. The external facade is characterized by diamond-shaped, low-emission double glassing installed on the internal structure made of steel profile with a rectangular painted in white. Behind the external facade, it is a second facade which differs because of the orientation of the building and the internal function. It alternates white concrete surface, polished steel, transparent glasses, and micro-perforated panel for ventilation. The double envelope has got the objective to preserve the internal comfort in all seasons, considering very hot summer and hot and cold winters. On the southeast and southwest side, there are the volume for auditorium and the archive entirely closed from the outside. The internal envelope is opaque, and the gap between this and the external facade acts like a thermal buffer with natural ventilation guaranteed by thermostat-activated grips on the roof. During the winter, the air, heated naturally, is redirected toward inside the building. 2 minutes is finished. Multiply transparencies and reflection play on the classed facade and reverberate the surrounding landscape, including the building and the ex-barracks, the row of plants, and the sky of the southwest France. Its facade reflects the surrounding barracks like a respectful differential mirror. At night, it is the lantern that brings the square to life, turning it into an inviting, open, and transparent space. The volume becomes a bright display which gives life to the square, emphasizing the transparency and continuity with the internal space. Thank you.